Imagine a world where flies just don't exist. Poof, gone. Today, we're walking you through it, step by step. From the first hour without that annoying buzz, to a full decade later. Will our kitchens stay cleaner? Will economies shift? Or will nature hit us with some unexpected twists? This one's got surprises, some relief, and a lot to unpack. Ready to explore? Let's go. Noon hour after flies disappear. Let's start with the first hour without flies, shall we? We'd notice it most in our homes and streets right off the bat. No more buzzing around the trash can or landing on our food kitchens feel pristine. Almost too still. Picnics in the park get a sudden upgrade, with no pests diving for our sandwiches. Cities with open markets, like Cairo or Mumbai, feel fresher instantly. Out in nature, it's quiet so far. Fields and forests don't shift yet. Flies, predators like spiders haven't felt the pinch. Businesses selling fly swatters or sticky traps might blink at the silence. But nothing's major. We reckon this first hour delivers a quick perk. Cleaner, calmer urban spaces. 12 hours after flies disappear, 12 hours in, and cities are starting to feel the difference. Outdoor cafes and food stalls stay spotless. No flies mean no frantic waving over plates. Public trash bins don't hum with that familiar drone, cutting down on that gross factor. Hospitals see a slight drop in fly-related hygiene complaints, though it's early days. In the wild, spiders and birds that eat flies start hunting harder. But their food supply's still holding. Compost piles sit untouched, slowing decay just a tad, economically. Fly repellent sales dip drugstores notice fewer grabs off the shelf. We figure urban life's enjoying the peace, while nature's barely blinking yet. 24 hours after flies disappear, a full day without flies, and we're seeing sharper changes in urban areas. Street vendors report cleaner workspaces, food stays untouched by pests, boosting customer trust. Parks and playgrounds feel more inviting, with no flies bothering kids or pets. Health clinics note fewer cases of fly-carried stomach bugs. A small but real win. Out in rural areas, decomposition slows, dead animals and plants linger longer without flies breaking them down. Frogs and bats that snag flies adjust. Chasing other bugs. Economic ripples hit fly trap makers see sales tank in fly-heavy zones. We think this first day's a relief for cities, but nature's starting to stall. 10 days after flies disappear, a week in, and urban perks are piling up. Public health gets a lift. Fly-borne diseases like dysentery or typhoid drop noticeably. Cities with big sanitation challenges, like parts of India or Africa, save on cleanup costs. Outdoor dining booms as people enjoy fly-free meals, giving restaurants a bump. In nature, though, things get tricky. Piles of organic waste roadkill. Fallen fruit stack up, stinking up fields and forests. Spiders and birds that ate flies thin out, shifting to overcrowded prey like moths. Economically, pest control pivots from flies to other bugs, but fly-specific products gather dust. We'd say cities are cleaner now, while ecosystems feel the slowdown. Song weeks after flies disappear, 2 weeks down, and urban life's thriving. Markets and food courts see sales climb. No flies mean safer, more appealing goods. Health agencies report major drops in food poisoning linked to flies, especially in warmer climates. Safety from contamination becomes a quiet bonus, easing public worry. Outdoors, decay lags hard. Compost heaps and carcasses rot slower, drawing scavengers like rats instead. Birds and bats struggle as fly meals vanish, pushing them into new habitats. Economically, sanitation crews work overtime on waste buildup. While fly repellent brands lose ground, we reckon cities are winning big. But nature's hitting a snag. Noon, month after flies disappear, a month without flies, and urban health's transformed. Clinics in fly-plagued regions see empty beds. No more kids sick from tainted food or water. Cities cut budgets for fly control, redirecting cash to roads or schools. Culturally, outdoor life feels reborn. Barbecues and street fairs flourish without pests. In the wild, waste piles grow ugly. Forests and farms stink as dead matter lingers. Unprocessed without flies, frogs and fish that ate fly larvae dwindle, rippling up to predators like owls. Economically, pest control jobs shift fly specialists fade, while waste management ramps up. We figure cities are healthier and happier, but nature's rotting stalled. Hoke months after flies disappear. 6 months in, and cities are cashing in. Areas once bogged down by fly-related illness see stronger communities. Fewer sick days mean more productivity. Outdoor recreation explodes, pumping cash into local businesses. Urban sanitation improves without flies spreading filth. Nature's a different story. Fields and forests clog with undecayed waste soil, gets less nutrients as decomposition crawls. Birds and bats that relied on flies fade, letting other pests like beetles surge. Economically, agriculture feels it. Crops suffer from slower nutrient cycles and rising beetle damage. We'd say cities are peaking, but the wild's choking on leftovers. Year after flies disappear. A year without flies, and urban landscapes shift dramatically. Disease zones like rural tropics report historic health gains, slashing healthcare costs. Cities lean into their fly-free status, boosting tourism with cleaner streets and parks. Safety from pests becomes a cultural brag. Life's just easier. In nature, the fallout deepens. Soil quality drops as waste sits unprocessed, stunting plant growth. Predators like spiders and hawks vanish from food web gaps, while rats and beetles overrun farms. Economically, waste management booms to handle buildup, but crop yields falter. We think cities are safer and richer, but rural systems are crumbling. Years after flies disappear, 5 years on, and urban life's golden. Cities in fly-heavy zones market themselves as clean havens, drawing tourists and residents. Healthcare savings fund public projects. QGIS, transit, you name it. Culturally, flies fade into history. Kids don't even recognize them in books. But nature's a wreck. Forests turn barren as soil starves without fly-driven decay. Trees grow slower. Plants wither. Rats explode, eating crops and spreading new diseases. Agriculture tanks. Food production drops from poor soil and pest surges, jacking up prices. Economically, cities thrive, but rural losses sting hard. We'd argue urban bliss comes at a steep natural cost. Steep years after flies disappear, 10 years in, and cities have morphed. Urban populations swell as fly-free zones become prime spots. No disease means more livable space. Economies boom with tourism and health gains, though food imports skyrocket to offset rural collapse. Flies are a distant memory, a pest of the past. Nature's flipped, though. Fields and forests are wastelands, soil's dead without decay. Plants barely grow, rats and beetles dominate, devastating farms and pushing pesticides to the limit. Global food shortages hit crop failures from lost nutrients, and pest plagues cripple supply. We reckon cities are urban utopias, but the wild and rural world's a rotting shell now. What if there were no flies? What if there were no flies? Right away, cities score big within hours. Kitchens and streets turn pristine, free of buzzing pests. Health leaps forward as fly-borne diseases like typhoid vanish, cutting medical costs and boosting safety within weeks. Outdoor life thrives by the first month, with economies riding tourism and sanitation wins for a decade. Urban cleanliness becomes a cultural perk, But nature tanks fast decomposition stalls within days, piling up waste and starving soil by year 1. Birds, bats, and frogs that ate flies fade in months, gone in years, letting rats and beetles surge by year 5. Farms suffer crops fail from nutrient loss and pest overruns, driving food shortages and high prices by year 10. Economically, fly pest control collapses early. Cities bank health savings, but agriculture crumbles under waste and rats. In short, no flies trade instant urban relief for a slow, messy collapse of nature and food supply.